Right, my name is Chuku de Martins Maris, and in this space, I teach you how to avoid Ponzi schemes, fake online investment platforms, and fake investment platforms. All right, and how to save your money from scam. So, in this video, I'm going to do another review of Bitnest liquidity. For the past few days, a lot of persons are complaining that their circulations are not dropping in their wallet. In fact, this started, I think, from 12th of December or so. A lot of persons have not been receiving their circulations. And a lot of persons are questioning the decentralization mechanism of business. Are they really decentralized, or there are still admin control that are restricting withdrawals? All right. So we are going to do a detailed review. We are going to figure out why this is happening. Initially they said that it was network congestion. Now, after a few days, they started saying that it was USDC USDT mismatch. And then now they're saying that those who buy nodes will be prioritized, which makes many people to question the decentralization mechanism. Why are you now prioritizing those who buy nodes that worth over $5,000? All right, so we are going to look deep into this to actually know why this is happening, why withdrawals are restricted, why some persons are not receiving their loops, and the possible causes. And then we're also going to check if Bitness is really and actually doing something about it or not. So let's go straight to it. So as you can see, we are going to, before we proceed, on 11th, all right, on 11th of December, one of the Bitness admins that is in charge of my own WhatsApp group posted something about Bitnest. All right. Because I think this issue started, I think, around 10, not actually 12, like I said earlier. So on 11th, she posted something in our WhatsApp group, and this is what she said. She posted a screenshot of Binance maintenance update, where Binance said that they have completed integration of Kava on BNB Smart Chain, BSC, and network opens, deposit and withdrawals on 11th of December 2025. All right. So does this really have something to do with people's loops not dropping? Let's read what she actually posted. She said, due to recent heavy congestion on the BSC smart chain, contract calls have been temporarily restricted because of this. The function of our smart contract has been affected, and some transaction nodes were not scanned and processed on time. This has caused delays in fund arrival and has also created display inconsistencies between the front end and back end. Please rest assured that this situation does not indicate any failed transaction or any issue with the user's funds. It is simply the result of the limited processing speed of the nodes. All user transaction data has already been fully uploaded and stored on the blockchain. As soon as the nodes start functioning normally again, the system will automatically complete the confirmations and fund transfers. Then she posted the liquidity contract address and said you can verify this directly by clicking the link below. And then she said the contract is functioning properly on the blockchain. The delay is only due to the restrictions placed on processing frequency. Please inform all team members that this is a normal blockchain congestion situation. This delay is only due to display related issues caused by restriction on node scanning. It will not affect the security of any user's funds. All transactions will eventually be confirmed and completed on the network. This was actually what they said initially. All right, this was the first information they gave us when people's deposits were not dropping, when people's loops were not dropping. This was the first information they gave us. So because the reason I'm doing this, I'm making this video now, is to actually indicate that they were not straightforward from the beginning, because this was what they said. Now let's proceed. Let's go and check the next news they gave us. So the following day, which is 12th of December, the admin also posted. When someone complained about this issue, the admin also posted and said, this is because a Binance update affected the Binance Smart Chain, causing blockchain congestion and other delays, not the reason you mentioned. And then scrolling down, she added a screenshot and said Binance has been undergoing maintenance recently, which has impacted the operation of the blockchain. However, please don't worry, this will not affect the operation of smart contracts, although there may be some delays from the blockchain's perspective. Orders are being continuously allocated, so please don't be concerned. All right, so she said this. So everything was boiling down to Binance maintenance and congestion issue initially. So let's proceed. All right, so on the 13th of December, another admin, Anderson, posted and he said, why have we recently encountered situations where USDT lending, then USDC repayment has occurred? Let me explain a problem that has been occurring and will be thoroughly optimized. Over the past period, as the USDC integration test version gradually went live, the following situation arose. Some whales or institutions borrowed using USDT, but when repaying, they chose to use USDC for liquidation. This led to a gradual accumulation of USDC in the liquidation pool. Meanwhile, the USDT supply became tight at one point. As a result, there was a brief delay in USDT repayment from a very small number of liquidity providers. This is why a very small number of users, 1 in 10,000, saw that their USDT was not immediately returned after the participation ended. Even though the on-chain record showed it had been sent, the feedback was a failure, actually due to a temporary imbalance in the currency structure of the liquidation pool, not asset loss. Therefore, some users waited several hours to receive their assets. However, with USDC officially launching as a provider of optional liquidity in January, the system settlement logic will be optimized accordingly. For USDT lending, prioritize matching USDT liquidity. For USDC lending, prioritize matching USDC liquidity. Strict restrictions on cross-currency settlement to reduce mismatches. The ultimate goal is singular: to make the participation process more stable and predictable for all liquidity providers. All right, so I don't want to read the other ones. So what I'm trying to say here is that this issue now is no longer the issue of network congestion, but USDC USDT mismatch. Does it mean that they didn't know that USDC USDT mismatch was the issue before they started telling us that it was network congestion from Binance? Because they didn't come back to correct the initial impression they gave to the community that the cause of this issue was network congestion, and then the next thing we started hearing was that it is now USDT USDC mismatch. They should have said, oh, okay, we just noticed that this issue was not as a result of the network congestion as we stated earlier, but USDC USDT mismatch. But they didn't state it. They just, after, when tension was high, when a lot of persons continued complaining and the maintenance was over, the Binance maintenance they claimed was over, they didn't correct themselves. Instead, they rushed and started saying that it was USDT USDC mismatch. That is why I said that they are not being straightforward. All right, so Anderson also posted this with respect to the loop that is not dropping. Remember, most of people who joined Bitnest actually joined because of the loop, so that they will be making their profit and by providing liquidity to the project. All right, so that is why a lot of us are more concerned about the loop, even though we are also interested in the project um, development and other project that they are doing. The primary reason that most of us started was actually because of the loop. So anything that happens to the loop will affect the entire ecosystem. So that is why we are also talking about it, and we are laying more emphasis on it, because nobody will have his money locked up somewhere and the person not accessing it, and the person will keep quiet. All right, so that is it. Now, this is what Anderson said. He said, "Dear Bitness community members, hello, this is Anderson, a member of the Bitness official management team. Today, the group will remain in a silent management mode. This is a temporary adjustment for order and security purposes, and it does not involve any asset risk, nor will it affect any user's normal participation. To avoid fragmented information dissemination and to ensure that every user clearly understands the current situation, we will provide a unified explanation today regarding the following four questions. Number one, explanation regarding delayed returns for some users participating in Bitnest Loop. Two, system solutions and handling mechanism for Bitnest Loop delays. Three, sales schedule and current progress of Bitnest DAO nodes. Four, long-term value proposition and ecosystem logic of Million Coin. All right, so let's start from one, explanation regarding delayed returns for some users participating in Bitness. So it says, first, we need to clarify the following facts to all community partners. All user assets participating in Bitness loops have remained safe. There has been no loss, misappropriation, or any form of financial risk. Recently, some users in certain regions have observed the following after the Bitness Loop investment experience. Withdrawals are arriving at their account at a slower pace than before. Assets are being returned gradually in small amounts and batches. Some users have reported delays in fund returns for themselves or team members. We would like to provide a unified explanation regarding this situation. Explanation of the true reason for the delay. After verification by the platform, the above situation is not due to system anomalies or defaults, but rather caused by differences in currency matching during the settlement structure adjustment period. Specific reasons are as follows. Recently, some lending orders have seen liquidity users choose to repay in USDC during the settlement phase. During the settlement matching process between different stablecoins such as USDT and USDC, the system needs to complete additional liquidity matching and clearing verification. During this transition phase, some orders experienced temporary processing delays and were returned in batches. It is important to emphasize that the situation is not a system malfunction or contract anomaly, nor does it constitute any default. Rather, it is a planned and phased adjustment of the settlement rhythm. Regardless, access security and settlement guarantee. To ensure the security and stability of all user settlement processes, Bitness has completed large-scale asset collateralization and liquidation preparations on chain advance. The relevant settlement work is currently processing in an orderly manner, strictly according to the established procedures. Please rest assured, community users, regarding the above situation, the platform market makers and liquidity management team have intervened immediately. But the question is there actually a market maker in a smart contract? Maybe we'll get to that later. They are uniformly matching and allocating liquidity for the relevant orders to expedite the overall settlement process and restore the normal return schedule as soon as possible. So the official asset collateral address is traceable on the blockchain. The current collateralized asset amounts to approximately $1.1 billion, and funding situation is sufficient, transparent, and verifiable. Official asset collateral address. So they posted the collateral address. That is, collateral address is the address where people who are borrowing money are putting their collateral. That is what it means. So according to them, Number two, system solution and handling mechanisms regarding the Bitnest Loop delay. So this is the solution they want to provide. In response to the slowdown in settlement for some users after Bitnest Loop expired, the platform has immediately activated system-level solutions and multi-layered risk control mechanism to ensure that the overall settlement process proceeds steadily under the premise of security, controllability, and verifiability. To address the above situation, Bitnest currently offers the following two processing mechanisms for users to choose from. Method 1, manual assistance, suitable for orders not yet due. For users who wish to clarify the settlement path in advance or whose current orders have not yet expired, Bitnest provides a manual assistant matching channel. That is also where another question comes. For a smart contract, a decentralized smart contract that the ownership is renounced and there is no proxy contract, how possible is manual assistance? How possible is manual matching? That is also another question. Okay, so the specific process is as follows. Users contact their respective partners or team ambassadors through official platform channels. Assistance in collecting relevant order information and wallet addresses and submitting them to the platform's technical team. Then the technical team will rematch the order. That is USDT, or an equivalent amount of circulating orders rematched. So manually now they will rematch the order and pay out. Then after rematching the order will continue to run according to the established cycle, and the smart contract will automatically complete the fund return at the end of the cycle. This method is mainly suitable for users orders that have not yet expired but wish to lock in the settlement path in advance. So I think this is even for those that their circulation. This first method is even for those that their circulations are not yet over. All right, the circulation periods are not yet over, so that part is actually for them. So method 2, wait for automatic system matching. That is system default processing method. All right, so for users who are not in a hurry, the system will continuously match USDT equivalent liquidity in the background. It should be noted that the system's matching time will vary depending on the liquidation pool situation and the user's liquidity level. Matching completion time may vary. After matching is completed, the system will automatically complete settlement and return. No additional action is required from the user. This method is the system default processing mechanism and is suitable for users who are not in a hurry. All right, uh, that is it. I don't want to read all these ones. Okay, let me just rush them. Further explanation regarding the processing efficiency. To further improve overall processing efficiency, the Bitnest system will launch a user self-service processing mode with 24 hours to within 24 hours to meet the actual needs of different users. At this time, users who wish to have their orders prioritized can contact a team ambassador through the platform to submit their orders for priority matching. Users who are not in a hurry can directly complete the relevant processing through the platform self-service function simultaneously. Users can also choose to prioritize using USDC for withdrawal operation to achieve higher matching efficiency. So some users may not know what USDC is. Why does the system support the use of USDC? So here they are just explaining USDC. All right. So that is that on that. So having looked at all this, we are going to review this concept again because, as you can see, there are some things that need to be questions in this particular project. There are some things that needs to be questioned, and we are going to make another review again. Number one, we are going to review the liquidity contract. All right, you can see where the liquidity is. If you click on it directly, it will lead you to BSC scan, and you can see that the contract address ending in 3121 is actually the contract address holding our money. And then if you click on it, all right, if you click on it below, you will see that Binance Peg BSC USD is having 24 million 191,830, while Binance Peg USDC is having 2,374,271. All right, so that is it. And then if you want to confirm this further, you can go to intel.arcam. So let's go to intel.arcam and check. All right, so if you paste this contract address on intel.arcam, you will also confirm similar amounts here. All right, you can see they have a total of 26.5 million in the liquidity on pancake swap. You can see that it is on pancake swap. So Intel.Arcam also confirmed that yes, the liquidity is still intact. So this is no longer an issue of that maybe they took your money, but this is the issue of payout, and we are going to analyze this issue of payout to actually know the primary cause of this, not just what they are telling us, but what we observe from what actually happens on a project like this. So let's also go to Solidity Scan. All right, let's also verify this contract address on Solidity Scan. All right, so in summary, let us actually analyze this whole situation and what we um, have observed. Personally, my own opinion and what I've observed from what is happening on Bitnest. All right, so let us quickly do that. For instance, we've confirmed from Arkham that the liquidity is intact, and we've confirmed from BSC scan that the contract holding the liquidity is the contract address ending in 3121, and as you can see, the money is in BSC USD. It has over $24 million, and the one USDC have over $2.3 million. So you can see that the whole liquidity is intact. And if you go to a Solidity Scan, if you scan it, you can see that the score, the risk factor is very low, 98.5, and the ownership is fully renounced. So let's you can see it here. Okay, let's check owners, renounced ownership. Okay, where is it? Okay, you can see critical administrative functions. There's no critical administrative functions, and then you can see that renounced ownership, that the ownership is fully renounced. All right, and then so what could be the possible causes of this whole issue? All right, so I'm going to look at the key facts we all agree on, all right, when it comes to this issue. All right, Bitnest operates on BNB smart chain, all right, which is true. We can also confirm it that yes, Bitnest actually operates on BNB smart chain, which is BSC. So these are the factors that are actually true when it comes to the whole thing that is happening on business. Number one, investments go directly into smart contract, not a central wallet, which we all know that yes, when we invest on business, it actually goes to this contract that ends in 3121. All right, which is actually true. All right, for those of you that have done some confirmation and all that, and that have been following up with us. And then the main loop contract and liquidity contract shows renounced ownership, which is also true, because if you go to Solidity Scan, we've also confirmed that yes, the ownership is actually renounced. All right, so that is that on that. And then another thing also is that the liquidity is on pancake swap and is visible and still large with over 25 million dollars. All right, and then you can actually confirm that we have seen that on intel.arcam, the Bitness liquidity pool is having over $26.6 million. And then you can also see that the contract address you see here is still the same contract address that ends in 3121. All right, so that is it. And then The project has been operating for over 1 year. All right. So how do we confirm? If you go to the BSC scan, you can see that this contract address is having 2 years, 261 days ago. Have been operating for 2 years, 261 days ago. So which means that yes, this contract address has been operating for a long time. All right. Withdrawals are automatic, manually not manually claim. All right, all the while that we've been in this system, we've seen that all our withdrawals are going directly into our wallet. We don't have to place any withdrawal. There's no manual withdrawal on Bitnest. All withdrawals go directly into our various wallets, and that is how the system has been operated, so which is actually true. All right, some users, mostly with smaller investment, are still receiving payout. Some people that have circulated less than $100 are still receiving their payments smoothly. All right, which is for those of you in our WhatsApp, we can see some persons that have posted that even yesterday. Some persons have also reached out to me that they have received their payout, but all those who reached out to me, the payout they received are less than $100. All right, so some users, especially with larger investment, are experiencing delays. Most of those who circulated large amounts of money ranging from dollars and above, $1,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 and above have not received their circulations, and they are complaining that they have not received their circulation. So these facts are on chain and verifiable. So you can go on chain and verify. You will discover that most of those that have received their money from these contracts are those with less amount. All right. So what the core issue appears to be. All right, so what is the core issue? What is the issue? All right, so for me, number one, what Bitnest said that it was the issue initially was not true. Bitnest exchange announcements where they say that it was network congestion that is causing the delay in payouts. So Bitnest was not sincere when they were telling us that, because that was not true. It was not a network congestion, and it was not a pancake swap failure. All right, that is causing this issue. And it is not a rock pool, because I saw some information, some persons posted in our WhatsApp group that Bitnest has rocked. A rock pool means that the whole money in the liquidity are pulled out. But if you go to Bitnest liquidity, you can still see that there is enough liquidity there. So which means that the issue is not as a result of a rock pool. The money is still there. The issue is that some persons are not receiving their money. So uh, all the observed behavior, from what I have observed from Bitnest, what I have observed is that there is a liquidity access problem. All right, there is a settlement and liquidity access problem. That is what I observed. So there is a payout issue, not actually as a result of missing funds. All right, so funds are visible on chain, but the payout mechanism is struggling to access or process them at scale. That is just what I can say about that. So so why liquidity can exist but payouts still delay? Is it possible? Is there a possible scenario where liquidity can actually exist but payouts are being delayed? All right, so let's actually look into some certain concept that can cause that. Visible liquidity should be equal to immediate withdrawable liquidity, but some funds may not go through if the liquidity is locked in pancake swap. So if the liquidity is actually locked on pancake swap, there is a tendency that they may not be released until it is unlocked. So one of the scenarios that could cause this issue is locked liquidity on PancakeSwap. And of course, if you go to PancakeSwap, you will also discover that our liquidity is the Bitnest liquidity is actually locked on PancakeSwap. All right. So you also discover that the Bitnest liquidity is actually locked on PancakeSwap. That is number one. And then another thing that could cause this issue is when the liquidity is held in different stable coin, like USDC versus USDT issue they talked about. If it is held in different stable coins, there is a tendency that withdrawals may not go through, because if payouts are in USDT and the whole money is in USDC, the issue may occur. And if you take a look at this place, if you take a look at this point where the liquidity is, you see that most of the money here is in USD, and then about 2 million is in USDC. All right, so that is it. Another thing that could cause this issue is if this thing is restricted by internal contract logic, all right, which limits batching or matching rules. All right, so if there is if there is an internal logic that limits the way payouts are being made, there may be a tendency of delay. All right, and for a contract that is already deployed and renounced, it will be very difficult to resolve, because the whole contract has been renounced. If the whole contract has been renounced, it will be very difficult to be resolved. All right, so that is another thing. So money can still be there, but not fully usable for automatic payout, especially larger ones. All right, so now the question is, why is it that smaller funds are dropping faster but larger ones are delaying? All right, so what could be the cause? All right, so for me, there are some possible things that could cause it. All right, number one, less free liquidity is being done by smaller funds. So smaller fund requires less free liquidity. All right, smaller funds are easier to process on the blockchain. All right, and smaller funds are less likely to fail or revert on a blockchain. All right, so that is it. So this may be the possible reasons why smaller funds are going through. And then large payouts, why is it that large payouts are delaying? The large payouts may stress the liquidity balance. All right, so from what I am observing from this whole thing, I think that there is a condition that are not being met. There are some conditions that are not being met, that is being deployed on the Bitnest ecosystem, that are not being met, and that is why large funds are not going through. All right, so when large funds want to go through, it will stress the liquidity and it will not go through. All right, and then large funds may require, another issue could be that large funds may require swaps or deeper settlement. So they have already stated that some persons are paying back in USDC. All right, which means that for large funds to go through, they may have to swap it to USDT for payout to occur. So for that reason, there may be delay in the payouts of large funds. All right, so for me, that is it. All right, so another thing I also discovered is that, based on the fact that this contract is paying in USDT, maybe if the USDT liquidity is dry, the contract may be coded in a way that when the USDT liquidity gets to a certain point, it shouldn't be paying certain amount of money unless a swap is being made. All right, so that is also another thing that could cause this issue. All right, so and another thing is also that large funds are more likely to be delayed if the system is constrained. All right, if the system is limited, if some payments are coded to be restricted in the blockchain, large funds may actually be delayed. All right, especially when the liquidity is not enough. The payout liquidity is not enough. All right, so that is it. So this may be the reason why the payouts under $100 are going through. Some large payouts still succeed, and then many large payouts are delayed. All right, so it is not actually a random behavior. All right, so about the USDT USDC issue, for me, it is technically possible that some repayments enter the system as USDC. All right, and then but payouts are actually expected in USDT. All right, and then Additional matching or swapping may be required in this case. However, there is a critical question that we need to be asked, because they say that they are going to do manual matching. So the question here is that if the core contracts are truly renounced and immutable, how are settlement paths being adjusted, prioritized, or manually assisted? Because a fully autonomous smart contract cannot change its logic after deployment. All right, so I am seeing a technical contradiction in this issue. All right, because the two statements cannot both be true. Either one is true or one is false. The number one statement is that the system is fully decentralized, immutable, and renounced. Number two scenario is that the team can manually assist, prioritize orders, rematch settlements, or deploy new processing modules. All right, so for a fully decentralized contract, the second scenario is not possible. So for the second scenario to be possible, it means that the smart contract is not fully decentralized. Maybe some aspects of the smart contract is still a proxy contract, just like the referral bonus, the sharing bonus contract is a proxy contract. Sharing bonus contract is a proxy contract which is not fully renounced. All right, so that one can be updated, it can be upgraded, it can be adjusted because it's a proxy contract. So for this to occur, it means that some part of the contract is not fully renounced as they claimed, because if manual intervention, prioritization, or rematching is possible, then some part of the settlement process is not fully autonomous, or additional off-chain or secondary mechanisms are involved. All right, so this does not actually mean that the system is fraud, but it does create some kind of uncertainty and risk in the mind of the investors. So that is just the fact. So I think Bitnest need to do some clarification on that. So but about the Binance announcement, just like I stated before, it has nothing to do with Bitnest payout, because the Binance announcement is solely for the Binance exchange, which is a centralized exchange, and it does not affect BSC smart contract, it does not affect PancakeSwap, and it does not affect USDT or USDC on-chain transfer. So it is not the cause of Bitnest payout delays as they stated initially. Now, that is it. That is that on that. So about the collateral address, they said collateral address is just the address where the, like I explained earlier, where borrowers put their money and they posted the contract address for confirmation. So we don't have any issue with that. So a summary of this whole thing, what do you actually think that this whole situation actually represents? So based on all the information I've been gathering from day one of this issue till today, what I can say is that number one, funds are not proven stolen. The liquidity on Bitnest are not stolen yet, because there is still money on the liquidity pool of over 26 million. All right, so the liquidity is not stolen. All right, liquidity is not drained. The liquidity has not been drained. There is still liquidity here. All right, and the system appears to be in a settlement bottleneck or structural limitation. That is what I can see. Maybe they coded something in the blockchain that does not allow payout when the amount of USDT gets to a certain level. All right, and for the payout to occur this time, they may have to do what? They may have to swap USDC to USDT for the payout to be possible. All right, so selective payouts suggest liquidity rationing, not actually disappearance. All right, so that is just it. So liquidity rationing may be a way of doing what? Of trying to maintain that particular amount, that particular scale that they have coded on the blockchain. All right, so that the liquidity cannot be drained. All right, so that is it. And because now the issue here is that renounced ownership means no easy technical fix. if the logic is constrained. If the logic is actually constrained, deployed, and the ownership is fully renounced, to fix this thing will be very difficult, because when the ownership is now, the admin will not be able to make some changes unless they have another source of revenue through which the payout may be processed, which is not actually on this particular contract that is holding the liquidity. All right, so this is worse than just a simple delay, but not worse than a rug pull, because a rug pull means there is no money at all, but there is still money, which means of course there is still hope for investors, but there may be delays. So that is it. So this is a smart contract, and this is a crypto project, and like I always say, in this place we are not emotional. We are fully responsible for all our investment decisions. So if you lose your money in the crypto space, you take it like that and you continue doing what you are doing. It's not a time to begin to apportion blame to anybody. It's not a time to begin to fight anybody. In fact, people bought Bitcoin and they also got liquidated when the price crashed, and also some persons also buy crypto assets and they didn't make anything out of it, while some persons also made millions from it. It all depends on how the whole market performed. So in this place, we are not emotional. We are responsible for all our investment decisions, and we don't apportion blame to anybody, but we do what we tend to follow up with all the information and the whole thing that is happening in the ecosystem, and then all that. So what do I suggest for everybody that is in this particular project? The first thing that I suggest is avoid spreading fake news, fake information, and panic, especially external information that are not verifiable. I have seen a lot of persons posting a lot of things that the system has been robbed, money has been stolen, and all that. So all these are not verifiable claims. So stop posting panic claims to your community, because when the rate of panic is too high, the system will not survive, because a lot of persons will begin to distance themselves from the project of the system. They will stop buying from the system. Borrowers will stop borrowing from the system. Lenders will stop adding liquidity to the system, and once the liquidity is dry, the system will crash. So that is just it. So I'm just stating the fact to you. All right, now another thing also is that we need to ask for on-chain proof of all the announcement that Bitnest is making, not just the posts that are making. They need to also give us the proof of the whole thing they are saying. Of course, sometimes they also post the proof of what they are saying, so we keep asking for proof. All right, number one is that they need to clarify us on how settlement is being adjusted if the contract is immutable, because they say that they are going to adjust the settlement and do manual matching. So they are going to tell us how they will be able to do that if the contract is fully renounced. Or if the contract is not fully renounced, they should also tell us that yes, the contract is not fully renounced. This is the path through which we can do this manual matching, so that everybody will understand it. Not that maybe tomorrow now they will start to say another thing. Initially they said it was network congestion, now they said is USDT USDC mismatch, and now they're saying that they're going to do manual matching. But initially they told us that this is a fully decentralized project. So they are going to tell us, is it no longer a fully decentralized project? From what part are they going to do manual matching if the project is fully immutable and decentralized? All right, and then the contract that control the payout, we have already seen that the contract that control the payout decision is still the same contract that holds the liquidity, because when we receive our circulation and we check, we always see the contract ending in 3121, which is also the contract responsible for payout. So if there is any other contract that is responsible for payout that they want to adjust and order, they should also make it clear, because they have been transparent from the beginning. So it is not now that they will begin to hide things from the community. So we, the community, is asking them to clarify this whole concept, so that we, the community, we have more confidence in the ecosystem. All right, so that is it. So they should also tell us if there is an off-chain decision. Is there any off-chain decision? Like maybe sometimes payments are made off-chain. All right, they should tell us if we have our money elsewhere again, if they will still have some liquidity elsewhere through which they can do the payment if it is not coming from the contract that is being renounced. So they should clarify this whole thing so that investors will have more confidence in their ecosystem. All right. Okay, so at this time we have to focus more on facts and not just spreading fears and rumors. All right. So in summary, Bitness current issue appears to be a settlement and liquidity access limitation within a payout system. So the funds remain visible on chain, all right, but selective delays, all right. So some funds are going through, some are not going through, especially large one. USDT like USDC mismatches is one of the issues, and claims of manual intervention contradict the idea of fully autonomous renowned smart contracts, which ends up creating more uncertainty that requires transparent technical clarification. So my suggestion is that Bitness should clarify that aspect for us further, so that the members or the investors will have more confidence in the ecosystem. All right, so that is it. Thank you all. If you have any question about everything I said here, you can drop it in the comment section or join our WhatsApp or Telegram group and ask your questions there. Our Telegram and WhatsApp group are always open. Some admins of Bitness have locked their WhatsApp group because a lot of people are complaining, but I decided to keep my own WhatsApp group open. So the reason is because if you have any issue or concern, you can always drop it there, because we are more interested in our community than just a project, because a project may come and go but the community remains. Thank you all and have a great day.